Good morning, Britain. Households braced for the latest inflation figures out in the next hour, expected to drop to their lowest level in more than a year. But price rises are still not slowing as quickly as hoped, which means further interest rate rises are on the cards. What does it all mean for you? It's Wallet Wednesday, of course, and Martin is here answering your money questions throughout the morning.
Yeah, today we're opening it up. You get to set the agenda to cut your own personal inflation rate if you like. So whether it's broadband or energy, or you've booked your summer holiday but worried how you will afford it, or even childcare during the long summer break, get your questions in and I'll do my best to answer them.
As scorching temperatures sweep through Europe, impacting both young and old, we're going to speak to the serial entrepreneur who's been given just weeks to live after battling multiple cancers. She's got a very simple but powerful message for sun worshippers.
The teenager forced out of a supermarket for going in during an adults-only shopping town, much to his mum's fury. Should stores be able to turn away young people like that, or is it discrimination, plain and simple? Debating that after 7.
The British are here?
What?
And TV star Vicky Michelle tells us why the show that made her famous could never be made today, as she feels comedy is being nuked.
An improvement in our weather through the next few days. More in the way of sunshine, some isolated showers, but it turns more unsettled as we head into the weekend. I'll have all the details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Wednesday, 19th of July, 2023. Live from Television Centre in London, this is Good Morning Britain with Susanna Reid and Martin Lewis.
Good morning, Britain. It is Wallet Wednesday. Welcome back, Martin Lewis.
And they seem to always put the inflation figures out on Wallet Wednesday as well. Yes. Interestingly, today, the real thing we'll be watching for, we'll have the main inflation figures. But what caused all the problems last month is the underlying inflation figures that strips out the volatile things like energy and food. That's what put mortgage rates up. So that's currently at 7.1%. It's predicted to stay at 7.1%. If it goes down, things could get better. If it goes up, things could get worse. That's what I'll be looking out for when those numbers come at 7.
OK.
But can I do an aside?
You can do an aside.
Because I'll be honest, I had some tears in my eyes last night. I've had a stressful couple of weeks and I get lots of lovely messages, but this one cut through.
Are you the hero of the cost of living crisis in action?
No.
I think you are, Martin Lewis.
This is something else. This is someone says they regularly watch my show and stuff. And
yeah.
In 2015, I was sadly and suddenly widowed at the age of 38. I was never able to claim anything from widowed parents' allowance due to not actually being married to my long-term partner, and received little help from the government to then bring up alone our 3 children. Back in May this year, I saw your information that said a change in the law, it was actually a test case that had gone through that changed the rules, now allowed claims for unmarried parents, and it's worth applying to have this backdated. I did this, and today I received a letter from DWP. I have been awarded £34,049.34 in backdated money, and this is in my account already. I can't explain my feeling towards this. I've literally cried for about an hour and just had to get in touch. Thank you so much to you and your team. My kids are grown up now, and thanks to your information saying I can claim, I'm now able to help them with their own struggles and studies and housing. That backdating of bereavement pay, and it's complicated who gets it. But if you know somebody who's lost somebody and they're a parent of school-aged children or younger than school-aged children, and they've lost somebody since 2001, they may be able to claim backdated bereavement help, even if they weren't married. You know, if you were married, you generally were able to claim it, but that runs out in February next year. So there is a window open to claim it. It wasn't on the agenda to tip it this morning to talk about it, but it got to me inside.
And you make such a difference to people's lives, and we're so grateful to have you.
Spread that word, people. Backdated bereavement support for people who weren't married.
Yeah. Look, if you have specific questions this morning for Martin, if you think he might be able to help you, and he clearly makes a material difference to all of us, do get in touch with us this morning. You can do that by email or, of course, on our social media pages, because it is Wallet Wednesday. Martin is here. Let's use him while he is. Doesn't like to be called the hero of the cost of living crisis, but we all know he is. Not all heroes wear capes. Some of them don't wear ties. And Martin Lewis...
Hey, I shaved for you. I was on this morning yesterday unshaven.
I didn't ask for that.
Not for you, for the programme.
All right.
I fully shaved. I make my sacrifices too.
Were you bearded like a rescued Australian sailor before this morning? I was bearded,
and then last night I shaved to just a goatee, which I really like, just so that when my wife came in, she could see me with the goatee and go, please don't do that, because obviously I had to shave for the programme today anyway. Just to say that that person wanted to remain anonymous, which is why I didn't give them name, obviously.
Yes, right. OK, so let's bring you up to date with our main news this morning, because in the next hour, those official figures are expected to show inflation fell last month to 8.2%, which compares to 8.7% in May. But price rises are not slowing as quickly as the government hoped. So Bank of England could still continue to put up interest rates. And, of course, that would have a knock-on effect to mortgage rates.
So it's all actually more complicated and more subtle, as these things always are. First of all, let's remember we're looking back at June's inflation, so it doesn't affect what... It is about a measure of what has happened.
Yep.
Inflation going down does not mean prices are going down. It means they're not going up as quickly. The best analogy I can think of in this is imagine you're in a car and what we're talking about is not the speed of the car, it's the acceleration. We're not accelerating as quickly, but we're still getting faster. So... as for what will happen to interest rates, and especially mortgage rates, fixed-rate mortgage deals move based on the long-term predictions of interest rates. So it's not whether the Bank of England will move interest rates now. They're looking at over the next 2 years. So if the inflation figures are worse than expected, the markets will tend to react negatively, and that could put fixed rates up even more. If they're better than expected, we could see fixed rates slip down and get a tiny bit cheaper from today onwards. So that's what we're looking for.
At the same time, food inflation remains staggeringly high at just under 15%, and supermarket prices are almost 26% more than 2 years ago. Juliet Dunlop is at a community grocery in Glasgow. Juliet, it's pretty shocking. We reported on it yesterday with the boss of Iceland, what's happening in supermarkets. So what are community projects doing to help people with food prices?